Speaking of punishments, should we be considering punishing the tush push? The Green Bay Packers certainly think so. They are the team that has suggested and pitched now a rule where the tush push gets banned. This was talked about and then kind of went away. And then toward the end of the season, here's what I've noticed, though. When was it a big deal previously, the tush push? Last time
when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl.
2 years ago when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl and almost won it. Last year, the Eagles didn't go to the Super Bowl. Wasn't really a storyline in the offseason, if you remember.
Interesting.
Now they just went to the Super Bowl again, and this time they won it. And they did the tush push with everybody watching in the playoffs, in the NFC title game multiple times over. That was when Frankie Louvu was doing his, flyover like he was a jet before the game. And then they did it in the Super Bowl as well. It's a problem again. The Packers have put forth a proposal to ban the tush push. And initially it was just this anonymous team. Well, somebody figured out it was the Packers. And then Mark Murphy, their president, put out this statement on why he wants the play banned. He said, quote, "I'm not a fan of this play. There is no skill involved, and it is almost an automatic first down on plays of a yard or less. The series of plays with the Commanders jumping off sides in the NFC Championship game to try to stop the play was ridiculous. The referee even threatened to give the Eagles an automatic touchdown if the Commanders did not stop it. I would like to see the league prohibit pushing or aiding the runner, quarterback, on this play. There used to be a rule prohibiting this, but it is no longer enforced because I believe it was thought to be too hard for the officials to see. The play is bad for the game, and we should go back to prohibiting the push of the runner. This would bring back the traditional quarterback sneak that worked pretty well for Bart Starr and the Packers in the Ice Bowl." So that is the statement from the Green Bay Packers on the tush push.
2 prongs here. The second part, we'll get to in a second, I think is 100% correct. The first part, I disagree with. When he says there is no skill involved, then it's almost an automatic first down. Well, the automatic first down part's true. The no skill involved is wrong.
So that's actually my first take as well.
Yeah, 31 teams don't do it because one team has mastered it and nobody else has.
A lot of teams do it. To your point, though, they don't do it as well. I will say the Buffalo Bills are almost as good at it with Josh Allen's size.
Yeah, with that, that dinosaur back there pushing people around, sure.
But we will wholeheartedly, I think, come together on this and agree. This is a skill play. I mean, Jalen Hurts is amazing at running it, and I think part of it is this dude squats like 500 pounds.
Yeah.
And their line has been coached up on. They spend time on it. They get lower. They get off the snap faster and go helmet straight to the ground. I don't really know the specifics of how they pull it off, but they are better at it than everyone else. Because originally that was my argument. No skill. Anyone could do this. And then I saw everyone try it and get stopped about half the time. And I thought, well, really, this isn't as big a problem as we think. It's just that the Eagles are unbelievable at it, and that's not a reason to stop it.
Right. So that's my point. That's not the reason to stop it. So if I'm Mark Murphy, I holster that one, the no skill involved thing, and I replace it with something else. Enormous injury risk. That play is chaotic. Okay. This is not a football play. The rule that he references where you can't aid a runner, we just threw up our hands and went, it's too hard, so now you can. That needs to come back.
Well, isn't it still illegal by the rule book to pull a runner forward?
I don't think so at all. I think they did away with it.
So I think we're talking about two different things. You're talking about to aid a runner by shoving them and knocking them forward.
Right.
I'm talking about to pull a runner over the goal line is still illegal. It gets referenced occasionally in games.
You might be right about that.
Did that guy pull the guy forward? What you're talking about used to be a thing and isn't anymore, which is the lineman. You see this even just not even at the goal line.
Yeah, just on a regular play, a running back gets stood up and he's churning his feet. Well, here comes 330-pound dudes just pushing everybody. And now you get an extra 5 yards out of it.
And a lot of times they don't even push. They just obliterate their teammate. They come flying in and just dive right at him and knock everybody. Them both over.
Yeah, they're hitting everybody. That needs to be done away with. If we're concerned with safety, we can fix the kickoff and do this strange new world of kickoff stuff, but we can't do that. There's nothing more dangerous.
What rule then takes care of the tush push and the thing that you don't like?
There's nothing. You do not aid a runner. So however you want to define that, someone smarter than me could write the legal term for it.
That gray area is why they basically gave up is it's hard to determine aiding a runner in a pile.
They just couldn't figure it out, so whatever. To me, when it's clear and obvious, a person goes behind Jalen Hurts and pushes him. They call it the tush push because that's what he's pushing, right? No. Here's the thing. If you do the sneak correctly, it's wildly effective. Ask Tom Brady. Not quite to that level of the tush push, but damn near close, right? If you do it right. Now everybody wants to get together and have a pushing contest. You bring 11 bodies close. That's wrong. You spread people out, and then you do it, and you get first downs all the time, or touchdowns. The quarterback sneak is a football play, and it's wildly effective, as effective or more so, to do what it sets out to do than nearly anything else. If you go back and look at historical percentages and otherwise, and people can be really smart and figure stuff out. But they've taken advantage of an incredible skill set. So this is less to me about sour grapes not being able to block it. I don't care about that. And that's what every stupid Eagles fan, every, the jackass from South Jersey is yelling, you don't like it, stop them. No. This has nothing to do with not being able to stop it, as far as I'm concerned. It's a safety issue where we're just asking for something terrible to happen. And B, the rule that needs to come back is, one, it's related to safety, but also the aiding of a runner as a part of the play design, to me, needs to go away in the NFL. There's already everything tilted towards the offense. And I got plenty of things that should be more tilted toward the offense, by the way. I've got plenty of rule changes that I would implement. But to me, this is not a football play. It's something else that's game in the system based on this incredible skill set of these guys.
I think that the best argument against having the tush push legal in the NFL, for people that want to get away with it or do away with it, should be the health thing that you're going with. Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of guys that get banged up and the pile gets picked up and everyone's getting up, and then you got to go to the sideline and you're not feeling right and you're getting treatment. We saw Chris Jones in the Super Bowl, if you remember, getting his neck worked on.
Yep.
Right after a tush push.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, if you go back and watch how he defended the tush push, did you ever see how he lined up
Not
against
specifically.
it? He lined up sideways.
Yeah.
I don't mean like a little bit. I mean like literally his ribs and his,
like he's turned
he was
perpendicular.
He's facing
the sideline
mm-hmm. with his butt toward the other sideline, and basically like his rib cage even with the football, so that he could just drop down on the ground at the snap, I guess, so that they couldn't get below him. And then he just starts to pile up like right there, like he's laying on his
mm-hmm.
stomach. Now, the result of that was that he hurt his neck in some way and he was having to get some treatment and be worked out on the sideline. I do not have the percentages of success rate in front of me for this past year. Let me go back. Let's see. Data from the 2024 season is coming in. Okay, so quick Google search. I don't have it for this year. But in 2022, the tush push was 92.6% successful for the Eagles. In 2023 last year, they did it a lot more. Do you know they ran 42 of those?
Yeah.
Last year?
I didn't know the numbers.
This isn't this football season, right, but 2 football seasons ago. 42 tush pushes. My God, man. I mean, that's 20 more than I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
Twice as many or so. But it was only 83.3% successful. So they went from, and maybe that's part of the reason, not just that they got to the Super Bowls, but it was at 93% 2 years ago. It was down to 83% this year. Maybe it's back up around 90%. And so this feeling is like it's automatic. Do you think that the success rate should be a factor in whether or not it's done away with?
No, not for me at all. And because
I think that's most people's argument is it can't be stopped. Get rid of it.
Well, that's the Philly fan argument is like, you're just jealous because you can't stop it, right? It's the same type of person that would yell, you don't like them celebrating, then stop them from scoring or whatever. But here's the counter data. The quarterback sneak, the regular one. This is a Yale study, so I don't know what level they measured. I'm assuming the NFL is just under 83% effective in its own right. Getting the first down, getting the touchdown, getting that 1 yard. So effectiveness to me is where people get caught up, right? Like to me, it's the principle. The principle of aiding a runner, I find just so anti what I think about when I think about football. Like the guy that's got the ball, you block for him, you do the best you can, but once someone gets their hands on him, we're talking about vulnerable receivers. Who's more vulnerable than someone that's got their head down, that's trying to wrap up and tackle, and here comes a 300-pounder with momentum spearing anything and everything that's in there. That's ribs, that's knees, that's head, that's neck, that's kill shots. I can't believe we haven't had more problems. And that's just not with the tush push. That's everywhere on the football
We
field.
call that the John Runyon around these parts.
Yeah.
So I actually totally agree with your point. But what you're describing there is not the tush push as much as that like middle of the field play where the lineman is blowing everybody up in front of them.
And to me, they're cousins. And the reason I bring it up is if we get rid of aiding the runner, then we get rid of brotherly shove.
You can get rid of both at once.
Right.
But like to me, that thing you're referencing, which is 20 to 20 or wherever on the grass, that should be done away with. Boom, right now. I think the tush push is actually way more debatable because I view what you're talking about for people that aren't connecting the dots. Like a tackle's being made and the lineman comes flying into the screen. You've seen it a million times and just like blows up either his own back or the defender to try to get that extra yard or knock him forward over the line of scrimmage.
He's coming from behind the line of scrimmage there and trying to move him forward. Yeah.
That is a dangerous play. I definitely think there's a risk of injury there. Is there actual data that the tush push is bad for health? I mean, I have not seen that. I know that a couple of times over, including the Chris Jones example that everybody uses here recently, guys will come over and it's a pileup of bodies. So when that happens, I would think there's a better chance that you get stepped on, you get landed on, and you come up banged up. But I don't have that data.
I don't either. It's anecdotal.
Before they changed the kickoff, for years they studied percentage of injury. And what they found was this is one of the most, if not at that original time that they did it, the most dangerous plays in our sport. So forget that just the common sense of, I got a dude at full speed colliding with a guy who's just standing flat-footed. Seems like it might be pretty dangerous in terms of collisions. They mixed that with the numbers and said the kickoff this percentage is more dangerous than the rest of the plays. I think you need that data to get rid of the tush push, and I don't know if it exists.
It doesn't yet because it's such a tiny sample,
but also,
compared to everything else.
Are you convinced it's a more dangerous play than?
Yes.
You think it's definitely more dangerous than a quarterback sneak?
Yes. When you get somebody that's like being pushed from behind into the pileup, that's just intuitive to me that it's more dangerous.
But the pileup, like a lot of the time, Jalen Hurts as an example is the guy being pushed. He's never gotten hurt on one of those plays.
He hasn't. It has not yet.
He's literally just body surfing. It's the least dangerous thing that he does probably during a game.
So we'll disagree there. I mean, to me, when you're in control of your movements to a degree in that short sample, like think about how Tom Brady used to do it. There's that 1/1000. He looks kind of, where am I going to dive forward? Right, with my awkward, lanky frame, and then he moves forward.
Or on the pile,
right, on the pile, however it's going to go. If you're being shoved from behind, you're no longer in control right there. So let's say someone's Luvoing or doing anything they can to stop this thing. You've now lost control of your own direction. Like you can't steer anymore your body to angle or whatever. You're getting shoved. So now head to head.
So the Luvu dive over the top does give you a chance for that head-to-head collision, but no different than it would over a quarterback sneak necessarily. And that awkwardness of the NFC Championship game, I'm glad that was like mentioned in Murphy's statement.
Right. And now again, I disagree with him on that, where it's like, what Washington was doing is ridiculous. That it's not ridiculous at all.
I think he was saying the sequence was ridiculous, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was talking about it. I thought that was a disgrace.
Well,
Washington
he's putting it in his statement why to get rid of the play. I thought he was basically saying the play is making a mockery of the game in some way. But I don't know. For me, a couple of years ago when I first saw it, I was adamant that we had to get rid of it. I thought it was too successful at too high a rate, couldn't be defended, and it looked like a rugby play to me.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel the same way anymore. I would have no problem with it being banned, but I try to be consistent as often as I can be. Like, I hate that we got rid of the shift in Major League Baseball. I don't like when teams figure something out, and because they're uber successful by doing it in a smart way,
I hear that
we penalize them. And you're not trying to do it for that reason,
right?
But a lot of people are. Their flat out argument is that thing's successful 90% of the time. You can't stop it. Like, that's a bad reason to get rid of it for me. It's a bad precedent to set. Now, if someone wants to prove that it is more dangerous, which you were just trying to do, I don't think it's more dangerous for Jalen Hurts. I disagree. I think it's more dangerous for the linemen.
I haven't even gotten to them.
That weird, like, helmet to helmet, or like, I think of Jason Kelsey going like straight down, like he's trying to dig. I was going to say
everyone's trying to get lower and heads bow, and there's your neck spinal type stuff. I mean, to me, it is a recipe for disaster.
But I would say that that's no different, really, than a quarterback sneak in terms of the lines and what they're doing. The Eagles have taken this to another level with the tush push now, but it's kind of the exact same thing as a 4th and inches if Jalen Hurts was just doing that without A.J. Brown shoving him from behind. That just gives you the momentum to get the extra foot.
The counter to the counter there is on a quarterback sneak, you don't know it's a quarterback sneak. This one, everybody's lined up. In other words, it could be a handoff. It could be a bootleg. It could be, I suppose the Eagles have now done some counters, but when everybody's geared up to stop it, they're all doing this dance where heads are down, necks are extended, extra danger. Whereas you can bet big on a quarterback sneak and try, but you also may have to defend every blade of grass when other teams are doing 4th and shorts.